finishing up the strapping here along the wall, so where all the studs are coming down, and then like across is like, here's the support pieces I put in place in case I want to do two sets of two different heights. This one's definitely going to be at bench height. It doesn't need it this way, but I just added extra support over this way because it's the 18 inches isn't going to come out all the way. Just a couple small things here like the light, just to kind of hold it around. Same bench on this side, and then strapping all around the doorway. And here's the vent, and then here's where the heater is going to be. So there's a 2x6 on top and 2x4 on the bottom, so I just strapped all that just in case. So, and then strapping around the intake vent right there. So I got all the ceiling strapping cut here, and the reason I'm doing this is so that when the siding sits on it, not the siding, but the cedar wall, there'll be an air gap that'll help with the insulation, but also keep a barrier so that any water that collects, because this is a vapor barrier on the ceiling, but on the sides it'll collect on there and it'll be able to drip down any extra instead of just sitting on the wood. And so the other benefit I get from this, instead of having, when I'm putting up the walls, I'll have this, and I won't have to be feeling constantly trying to figure out where the studs are, because this shows exactly where the stud is. It's pretty easy just to line up each side. Kind of rough the middle. Okay, so I'm gonna start doing the walls here for the sauna. So I went around and did the first row just to get a straight baseline that makes sure it's level all the way around. Because I had it before where you just work on one side and you may be going, correct, and it doesn't line up with the other sides, or you have to work with. But it was measured or leveled diagonally this way to make sure it's all square. So I'm just going to slowly. I'm actually going to start on this wall first, just because I want to get the heater up, because there's some things I needed to do with that. Forgot to mention, one other thing that I have to do is raise this off the floor a little bit, because what I'm going to have is these furring strips against these pressure treated strips that are sitting on the concrete board on the floor like this. That'll be so you can walk on, and I give like a little bit, 1/4 inch here, just so it's not pressing down and I have some room to work with. So I got a first row, like I said, around, and then I put up a couple rows here of the siding just so I could get the heater in, and then tried out hooking it up. I had to get this special conduit that could handle high heat. Had to be able to handle over 100 centigrade or Celsius, and a waterproof box. And then so I got all that hooked up just the right distance. Had to put a little bit off. You only needed 4 inches, but I did like 6, so just get a little extra because this is all just open space here. So got it just enough. Tested it out, and the heater turned on. So working good. So I just need to work my way up here, and I start marking the joists, or sorry, the studs, where the studs are, and also the vertical supports that I put like this right here, because I'm going to put there's going to be a bench that goes around here, so just keep that in mind. It's hard to tell here, but you can see something like inked up, or might not be able to see it, but it's very rough. Not very rough, but you can see the spiral markings, everything here. So I'm going to sand all the pieces down before I put them up. So again, like I was doing, you saw the building is using 120 grit. This Rotex sander. This is a nice gear drive. We'll do direct gear, so that it's almost like a belt sander. So use 120 and just get it down a little bit, then put it into random orbit mode and 180 just to get it smooth enough. It doesn't have to be 220 or anything, just smooth enough to look nice. So I have some couple more pieces left over that I can break down, or that I'm going to be using. Again, I have to cut down. And once I get done with these, I have some really rough pieces as well. Then I'll have to move on to the actual just plain boards that I have. I have a lot of cedar left over. You can see this large pile. The rest of these are just square boards, so I'll have to dado router, and then dado the back side here as well, just to get that shape, and then route each side with a 45-degree roughed board that I start off with. And here it is right after 180. I gotta work on this a little bit here. But you see the difference in texture. Of course, it leaves these scratches here because I'm in that gear-driven mode. But then once I go to 180, I'll get all these out.